Well, we have been married now 20 years. Can you believe it?
No.
I know it. I would have said like 3 years, but better say 5 since we got 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to show this video in church. But we met when we were in Colorado Springs, and I was working at Focus on the Family, and I was working with Monty Geyer at Focus on the Family. She was a gifted programmer in our department, and I went through the hallways one day and saw this hottie, and found out that it was Monty's daughter, but she was away at school, and I thought, long distance, I'm not going to do it, so she's not the right one. But as the Lord would have it, she moved back.
And one day my mom came home from work, and she wasn't even out of her car, and she said, "Don't worry," she said, "there's this guy, Kevin Trigueiro, at my office, and I just found out today that he's single. I've always thought he's been married. If he ever asks you out on a date, you have to say yes."
And boy, I was glad that Monty and another lady started kind of working the World Wide Woman Web and planning my future. And the first step was to invite me to a birthday party for Dawn. And I got there, and I figured out that all of a sudden I'm looking around and I'm the only guy. And so just like, wait a second, what is going on here? And she came down the steps, and she's kind of curling her hair and or playing with the hair, doing this little primping, preening, and I thought, hello. But soon we went and visited my parents out in California, and we've been dating several months now, and we had planned kind of a surprise engagement. And so we ended up on the 17-mile drive down in Carmel, and finally found one particular spot. And as the sun was going down, I pulled out a ring and a heart-shaped pillow that she had bought that day, and said, "Hey, this is a day that I thought honestly would never come," when I got down on one knee and asked the woman that I love to marry me.
Aww.
And so I said, "Dawn, would you marry me? And if you'd like to say yes, I'd like to seal our commitment with our first kiss."
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. And although she didn't say much, she sure communicated a yes.
Okay, thanks.
Some people are just gifted communicators.
You're so funny.
So anyway, we talked about dates at that point, what date we should get married. And when we were returning a couple months earlier from Iowa, a sad occasion, that was Dawn's grandmother's funeral. We were driving and back from Nebraska, and I had remembered some advice that I'd gotten, and that was, you need to drive a stake in the ground when you make a commitment. And I looked out at that moment, and I determined in my heart and mind that this was the woman that I was going to marry and spend the rest of my life with, if she says yes. And right at that moment, I looked out, and we're at mile marker 241. And so I said, how about on 2/4, or February 4th, we become one?
And the good news is he never forgets our anniversary, because he was the one that said it.
Tip. That's a good tip for you guys. And so, yeah, we now have that as a reminder for us in our backyard, because the state of Colorado made us a sign for 241. So we always have that to remind us of the day that we got married.
That's right.
Yep. So we're just very grateful to the Lord for bringing us together and letting us get married.
That's right.
Ooh, stop tape.